So please welcome to the stage the amazing Mr. Ben Hudson!
Woo!
I was supposed to sing this. I'm Ben Hudson, and I'm not a geek. I'm dragonborn. Has any lads here played Skyrim?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your girlfriends hate you.
Yeah.
Any girlfriends played Skyrim?
Yay!
Your boyfriends love you. The thing about Skyrim, right, it's a computer game if you don't know. And computer games are one of these brilliant mediums where you can get this huge contrast between being a hero 1 minute, capable of amazing feats, of slaying dragons, and of absorbing their souls, and the next minute you can't do anything at all. You can't even do the simplest things. Ah! Dragon, you have died. I will now attempt to walk over this 2-foot wall. Oh. No, that's not happening. And the thing is, right, what you do as a dragonborn is that you go and you save these villages in the land of Skyrim from being attacked by dragons. And the dragons will come and they'll breathe fire on the villages, and you'll be running through the village, firing arrows at the dragon, fighting. And the trouble is, the AI NPCs in the game, right, the AI can't always quite handle the situation and the emotional complexity of what's going on. So you'll be there, firing arrows at the dragon, there's fire coming down, people, you know, they're running by, screaming, and then one of them will get too close to you, stop and go, oh, hello, good morning. And you'll be over there, and another one will come past you and say, have you heard the news about your Vasker? This is not quite the time. What will happen is once you've killed the dragon, once you've slayed, slayed is something completely different. I'm not quite sure how you would slay the dragon. I imagine it might go something like, ha, dragon, it's Christmas! You know slay. What happened is that the villagers, after you've slain the dragon, is that they'll gather round the village green where the dragon has died in a circle, and they'll be clapping, and they'll be cheering, and they'll be going, oh, praise the nines, the legends are true, you have saved us. And there'll always be one woman standing there clapping, smiling, next to the charred corpse of her husband. Can you sort of imagine, you know, the news crew rushing in after the event? Hello there, sir, could you tell us a little bit about what's just happened here? Well, it was amazing, right? The dragonborn, he rushed into town and he killed the dragon, and he absorbed its soul, and then he spent about 2 minutes looking at the sky, and then he went over there and he jumped on that pile of rocks for about 10 minutes. Because what happened is, as the dragonborn, you'll have just completed your quest, and you'll get experience, and you'll go, ha, I must now spend my experience points in the sky. You'll look into the sky. I will give myself +10 agility. I now go and jump over those rocks like a cat. And you jump over there, ha! Oh no, something appears to have gone terribly wrong. I'm stuck in an animation loop. Okay, yes, they're all still watching. Okay, I'm going to try crouching. No, that's just making things worse, if anything else. Okay, oh good, better shout. Fussroda! Fussroda! Okay. No, that's not working. Fuck it, I'm fast travelling my way out. My dad is he's actually quite bald. In the winter, he's going to go looking for his beanie. And yeah, I'm actually quite annoyed about this because I ordered this perfect Skyrim helm online, and it's like a perfect knitted one. Okay, brilliant. It's like wonderful. Like even like the little bits of chainmail. Oh, it's gorgeous. And I ordered this thing, and it was $35, 25 quid. But you know, for a guaranteed opening laugh, that price. But the annoying thing was, I only realised after I ordered it that I'd ordered it from America, and it was going to take 3 weeks to ship over here, and I wasn't going to get it in time. So I had to butcher a perfectly good piece of winter headwear and some socks. So yes, I'm a man standing here wearing socks on his head. It finally happened. But then I got an email from the company, right, and it was a nice email thanking me for purchasing their goods. And it said, in a little note, "Thank you for supporting the handmade community." Wouldn't it be funny if there was like an actual community that was handmade, made out of, you know, hemp and buttons and hope? No, it wouldn't! That's not the sort of thing I think regularly on a day-to-day basis! That's the only thing like that when I'm writing for stand-up. When I have to think about that stuff, oh, flights of fancy, oh, anarchistic visions of cotton-based living, I don't know! I don't generally think like that. It's not really me, I mean... This is a Madonna mic, because clearly I can channel her. I'm not actually joking, the only Madonna music I know is Evita. So yeah, no, I've got really conflicted feelings about myself on stage actually, and you know, I can't hide behind a woolly hat all the time, and when I come out, you know, here, I'm confused about who I want to be. I mean, who am I? I mean, sorry, I can now say, yeah, who are you?
I'm a Chris.
You're a Chris. You're a person! Who are you?
A person.
Yes! You got it right! You're a person, 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 you're a chair! And you're all people, but the thing is, I'm not a person, right here. I'm an extension of myself, I suppose. I'm on stage, I'm a persona, I suppose, and I'm a personality, and I'm putting certain aspects of myself out here, and frankly, I don't really think they're very good. I don't think it's very satisfying. I don't think I hit the right notes. And I know because it's been my job to teach this stuff. Right here, standing right here, telling people about their on-stage personas. And if I was to give myself feedback, I'd say it's all over the place. You go on too long, and frankly, you spend far too much time talking about things that are gently amusing rather than actually funny. If I am Michael Palin, I skipped right to the travel documentary hits. I'm a better after-dinner speaker than I am a comedian. And the trouble about that is that to be an after-dinner speaker, you have to have done something with yourself first, like being properly funny. But this show was always going to be about media of some kind, and how we use media in our day-to-day lives to extend our personalities. And I really hit a bit of a brick wall because I thought about myself and I realised that I didn't really know who I was or what I wanted to be. And I looked on social media sites and my social media, and I just didn't believe them. I didn't believe what I'd written. And that's why this show is called Not a Real Person. I was going to call this show after a show that I'd already done in 2011 called Me and the Machines, and I was going to call it Me and the Machines 2. This time it's impersonal. I'm glad I got a laugh at that, since I didn't title it. You I should stick that in there. Yeah, I realised that wouldn't do, because I wanted to be personal. I wanted to find out about myself. I wanted to look under the surface a little bit. I wanted to get intimate, and I wanted to find out what really happens between a persona and an avatar. That's not the James Cameron film about the gold blue cat people, film in history perhaps that manages to be racist about a culture that doesn't even exist. But yeah, I struggle. I struggle with who I am, and I think one of the ways we can look at this is to actually go online. And so I'm just going to navigate away from the music here, and bring up Chrome. Okay, so here's my LinkedIn profile. Does anyone know what LinkedIn is?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So it's a professional network, and it's and I've got my professional details here. I'm Ben Hudson. That's me. I'm a PhD student. I should have said candidate, shouldn't I? Candidate sounds more professional. Or PhD forthcoming. PhD student, assistant lecturer. Now, wow! I mean, that sounds great. Doesn't it? It sounds great. I mean, PhD student, you just think, oh, you get these images. There's a young man in a lab. There's a printer, and he's waiting for these results, right? They print out, and he gets them, and his whole body tenses up. And he reads the opens the pen, the lid just drops to the floor, he's not paying attention. Scribbles out some formula, and he stands back. At 27, he has solved the mystery of dark matter. And then you read drama. No! He just sits at his computer reading shit on the internet. Assistant lecturer. I forget the assistant part for a second, but lecturer, oh wow, this sounds amazing, doesn't it? It sounds, all these visions of kind of esoteric academia, young man again, strolling across campus, possibly in his black academic robes, wind tussling his hair, as papers blow across his vision, and they're the final year students, they've just finished their exams, and they're throwing the papers in the air, they're so happy, and he catches one of them's eye, and the guy throws him an apple. And he tastes it, and it's bittersweet because he knows that he's reached that young person. But now that young person has to go off and make a life for themselves. And he turns away, but he looks over his shoulder as he's walking off, and he just whispers under his breath, "Off you go." No! I will sit at my computer and read shit on the internet. Let's look at my Facebook. Okay, sorry. We've got some events. Oliver John Double shared your event. Here's what I'm doing tonight. I'll be comparing. Okay, you should check that out. Right, so here's my Facebook. So what can we know with my hometown of Brighton, and the more stuff to share this event. That's what I've been doing recently. Let's look at my profile pictures, because what I've realised is that when you look at this stuff, I just feel like the concept of me is more interesting than the reality of me. And you have to read between the lines to figure out what's going on. And let's just... Oh, okay, yeah, so here's a profile photo of me. I don't know how much you can see of that. This was a publicity shot I did for this show, actually. And now, it's one of those typical, we were going to call this show Multiple Personality Disorder. And Nikki and I had this conversation, we were talking on the phone, and that came up. And we got into this is what postgraduate stand-up comedy is. We got into a heated debate about whether we could call it multiple personality disorder, because is that in some way exploiting a mental illness? In the end, we decided we weren't really sure and we should avoid it. And I looked up and I was in British Home Stores. And I'd never been there before. So yeah, typical, oh look, ha ha ha, look, ha, I'm happy. Someone's just caught me with a camera even though I'm taking that by myself in my own room. Angry, of course. Now this one up here, right, this is meant to be thoughtful, but my friend Ben, who was in the army and has got a brilliant sense of humour, decided to write on the side, first of all he says, what is this? It's to say you, pansy. And then below it, my favourite is the nose-picking one. Yes, it does look as if I'm about to pick my nose. But the one thing I find about this picture is, and by the way, if this isn't that amusing, it's because I didn't set this up in advance. Okay, this is real. Okay, I'm just going through what is there, so don't complain. That one in the top left, right, that's me trying to do a normal face. That's what I thought when I was taking that picture. I pointed the webcam at myself and I thought, normal. And to be honest, that's a bit creepy. And the trouble is that this seems to be an endemic problem with me. Let's look at the next photo. I don't know. I took it and I thought, well, looks okay. And now I look at it and I think, he's gonna stalk me. I'm worried, frankly. I'm scared of this person. Going on. Okay, again. I mean, what's happening for a start? I don't know what's happening with my hairline. I mean, I did mention that my dad is quite bald. But again, I don't know. There's something in the eyes. I don't trust it. Going further. Again! Type any name, I don't know. Murder. It's just freaky. I don't know what I'm thinking in these photos, and I'm taking them. And I keep doing it. And here, okay, so this is different. This is me trying to look sunny and hopeful about something, I think. Looking into the future, perhaps, wistfully. And here, well, that's a little bit, I mean, that's a little bit dark and depressing, isn't it? And I could go on to the next photo in the sequence, and we're going back in time here. But I won't, because the other person in it hasn't been consulted, and I don't think it would be fair. And that's because it's a picture of me and my ex-girlfriend. It's in January 2012, and we're in Brighton Pavilion Ice Rink, and there's sort of a kind of blue haze from the lights going on, and I took her there for a Christmas present, and she looks happy, and I look happy, and you realise why perhaps in this photo I look quite sad, and then in the photos after that I seem to be trying too hard. And you think maybe I'm putting a brave face on things. I know what you're thinking. It was funnier when he had the hat on. But no, I can look into the future and think positively about this. After all, what they say, plenty more fish in the sea, they say. And I don't particularly like that analogy, because it suggests that all I have to do to get a girlfriend is to dangle my tackle in the ocean. Also, women have 15-second memories and can flit on to the next thing, immediately forgetting the trail of destruction, emotional baggage they left behind. You see what I did there? I actually sandwiched a really cynical, dark bit of it in between a cliche and a knob gag. But you know, the trouble with it as well is the fishing thing, right? That lifestyle, the single lifestyle. And I don't know, but I don't particularly like clubbing. You know, I often get up in the morning, but I very rarely get down in the evening. And I'm that guy at a party, as a house party, I will find, after a few glasses of wine, the one empty dark room in the house. Go in there, stand next to the window and stare out at the night sky. And if you should walk in and see me and ask me what I'm doing, I will turn and I will say, when will we have peace in the Middle East? And yeah, so I'm that kind of guy. I mean, I mean, granted, you know, I don't have a normal day-night schedule. Yeah, I mean, it's not that bothers me. I'm up late most nights. Granted, I'm lying in bed, you know, wide awake, staring into blackness and whispering, why, under my breath. Oh, finally, enough! How long did that take? And that's my family! No, frankly, I wouldn't know a circadian rhythm these days if it was some kind of hip dance, which is the worst kind of dance for me because no one ever told my pelvis that it wasn't a fixed part of my torso. But you know, I'm not going to blame things for the way they are, and certainly not going to lay, you know, the way I've been feeling at the feet of one breakup, because that's not the whole story. You know, a couple of months before that, my grandfather sadly passed away, and you know, I think that must have been really hard for her, my girlfriend, thinking, I really want to break up with him, but... No. But I was feeling quite depressed for a long time and quite anxious, and that can be a difficult way to feel. I know, you know, people often experience this. And you know, it's very low. And I don't know if you've ever experienced anxiety or panic attacks, perhaps. But basically, it's a little bit like going into bullet time, and suddenly it's like, mind just stops, blood pressure rises, you're sweating, you can't think about anything, and your heart starts going, and you feel nauseous, and you think you're going to die. It's great fun. And you know when you're anxious, and I still know when I'm feeling anxious, because what happens is you sort of start to sob, but you stop, like, because the feeling is not fully there. So you'll be just in the morning, oh, I'm just going to check my hormones. Fine. Oh, okay, what's for breakfast? No, okay, fine, getting on the bus. I'll have a single, please. But you get over it, you know, you get past it, and I'm, you know, feeling a lot better about myself now. And I'm going to share something else with you guys now. I signed up for my dating. Who said, oh no? And in January, because I wanted to get myself back out there, as they say, but I didn't want to go clubbing. And this is my eHarmony profile. eHarmony sounded pretty, you know, non-threatening. I've learned to my disadvantage. Let's have a little look about me. One of the things I'm most passionate about, writing, bit of a geek. I also like to exercise and keep fit, distance running and going to the gym. Now what you'll notice is that I slipped the word geek in there. And I did that for a very good reason, because I think it's a little bit like small print. You know, it's a small word, it's in there, but it's in there. Okay, you know what you're getting. Then the most influential person in my life, my grandfather, and I wrote that, you know, he was a Scot and, you know, jack of all trades, great stuff. My parents are actually here. Most influential person in my life, yeah, sorry guys, but you know, when you're dead, you'll be there. But the best thing about this site, right, is that it does a personality test, and it's meant to help compatibility, right? So I thought, oh, fantastic. I want to find out more about myself, and this site's going to help. So let's have a look at what it says about my personality. Okay, I'll do that again. Very secure, very secure. Brilliant. Okay, so I'll zoom out here. It breaks it down for you into 5 areas. Okay, and then it gives you a sort of general assessment of those areas. I'm just going to go through the general bits because I don't want to go into too much detail here. Okay, so let's look at agreeableness. Okay, I really want to know what I'm like. Now, it says that you're either, in agreeableness, taking care of others or taking care of yourself. Oh, okay, great. What does it say about me? It says, I am best described as taking care of others and taking care of yourself. Great. Okay, what about emotional stability? Okay, you're either steady or responsive. Right? I am sometimes steady, sometimes responsive. Okay, conscientiousness, focused or flexible? Focused and flexible. And extroversion, outgoing or reserved? Can we guess? Sometimes outgoing, sometimes reserved. This is brilliant, this is fantastic. And in fact, the only one in which I've come down on any side is in openness, where you're either curious or contented. And of course, I am curious! Because do I look fucking contented? And do you think anyone on an online dating website is contented? So, I'm going to move on from this stuff now. And I've already sort of said, you know, this is quite dark. And we all liked that happy, fun guy who was wearing the hat and saying silly things about Skyrim. But that's just another projection of my personality. And speaking of projections of my personality, I'd like you to meet the star of my show. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome to the stage Virtual Ben. Now you'll notice he's a little taller than me, but that's a projection thing and not a sign of my ego. Yeah, let's say hello Ben.
Hello everyone, nice to see you, hope you're all well.
What's up with your voice?
Well, this is the first time I've ever been on stage, so we haven't figured out what my voice sounds like yet.
What are you talking about? I am you. I record your voice. Use my voice.
Okay, I'll speak normally. You never let me have any fun.
Well, I did kind of create you, to be honest.
Just because you created me doesn't mean you're superior. I mean, look at all the stuff I can do.
Well, like what?
Well, I can jump.
Oh, brilliant. Well, go on, do that then.
Okay, watch this.
Oh, right. Brilliant. I can do that. I bet you can't do anything more difficult, though, like the splits. Sorry, you'll see how this is completely seamless.
Oh, yeah!
Okay, fine. No, that's not going to happen. But I bet you can't get up in a smooth, stylish fashion. I'm just going to leave that on there.
Watch this.
but I tell you one thing you definitely can't do, is that you can't speak to the audience. You can't speak to them now and answer questions from them, because you're not programmed for that stuff.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
Okay, fine, prove it, go on.
Fine, I'll answer anything. Just ask.
Right, so come on guys, let's think of a question we can ask Virtual Ben. It needs to be something he can't possibly have thought of in advance.
Does he like swimming?
Okay, no, I don't suppose he could have known that in advance. Okay, so, Virtual Ben, do you like swimming? Answer that.
Okay, let me think.
Took the easy way out. You cheeky bastard. But you know, the annoying thing is that you're basically as funny as I am up here, and that really annoys me.
You're just jealous because you really want one of these.
Bastard. Why are you doing your own sound effects? Oh, could you just put it away for you, son?
Fine.
This guy, seriously, I'm feeling a little bit, you know, overwhelmed by you, to be honest, and I think that perhaps, you know, it's time for you to go.
Hold on a sec.
What's with,
That's better.
so what's with the helmet, Ben?
Well, we ran out of time to do lip syncing at this stage, so if I may, Ben, the problem with you is that you can't handle reality. You live in a dream world and you're constantly disappointed that life doesn't live up to your imagination. Reality is hard. As Yoda says, loss is a natural part of life. You can't be like me. If I want something, I just have to will it into being. I don't have to put up with loneliness. See? Hey, I don't even have to obey the laws of physics. Entropy is a sea, man. You can drown it, you can ride the wave. I just thought you should hear this from someone you trust. Your mind. Bye, everyone.
Virtual Ben, everyone! Yeah, he's like me. He's not quite as loud as me, though, is he? So this is nearly at the end, guys. I just want to tell you a little story. Back last summer when I was really suffering, I had possibly one of the, you know, the worst. Bugger off. The laws of physics. One of the worst experiences, and it was basically a kind of panic attack. And I was alone at home. This was a couple of weeks after I'd broken up, and I walked downstairs to the living room, and I walked over to the French windows, and I saw in the garden a football in the middle of the lawn, being kicked there by one of the neighbours' kids. And I don't know what it was, but suddenly it hit me, and I just collapsed. Collapsed against the sofa, the back of the sofa, and I sat there, and my heart was pounding, and I couldn't breathe. And in one hand I had my mobile phone, and I cycled through the contacts, and I found her contact on there. And I was thinking, I
can't call her. And I just felt absolute despair and hopelessness. And even as I was doing that, I was aware of how pathetic it all was and how I didn't want to be feeling this way. And it all bubbled up inside me at that point, and I was really just caught. And at the end of my tether, and I just let it out in this big scream, okay? It was... And I looked over at the French windows, and there was the neighbour's kid. And I stared at him, and he looked at me. And I thought, he was holding his football, and I thought, everything's so simple for kids. The imagination, the world's a wonderful place, all this potential. And I realised that, I still had that. And I think that's sort of what kept me going. So even if the imagined version of myself is more interesting than I am, I would still rather have that than not. I'm going to finish my song. This is the other media version of myself, dickhead with acoustic guitar. Don't worry, be happy. Don't cry for me, truth is I never left you. That's not actually the song. Okay. I stood on the roof and I looked at the curb. Now I know what you're thinking, but don't worry before you've heard the whole song. I wonder what would happen if I should jump off of the side. See, it's sort of hopeful. Would I fall or would I fly? Yeah. Light at the end of the tunnel. It's going to be all right. No, I would definitely fall. No, splat on the sidewalk. Nothing left but a 12-foot outline in chalk. Because I reckon I'm about, 6 foot? So 12 allows for some expansion. Like a bucket of paint thrown against a wall. I'm sorry if this is getting too emotional. Oh, I know, it's shit, isn't it? Terrible pun, just had to do it. I'm sorry if it makes you nervous. I guess it's just how I feel. I'm not virtual, or am I real? I'm not a superhero, but sometimes I am. Albeit limited by superhero and rhyme. I'm so happy I got to write something in rhyme in a song. It's a long way down. Those upturned faces in the crowd. They say, what happened to all the jokes? Yeah, I don't really know. They sort of disappeared somewhere along the line. 'Cause I'm not a real person. There's too many characters to choose. But I'd rather be a Jedi, wouldn't you? And while you're laughing at me, think about how I feel. It's like slipping on your own banana peel. the show. There's more comedy right after. You should go. Cause at the end of the day, we're just skin and bone. No faceless contacts on a mobile phone. No faceless contacts on a mobile phone. But solitary people in our homes. Thank you very much.